Okay, lots been going on. Mostly been helping my beautiful, amazing friend with chemo, traveling to Toowoomba. Everything's gone really good there. Some really great news. And things are progressing really great because we're doing energetic work as well. And just wanted to share in that process that there's a lot of fear around the cancer word and the chemo word, the C words as we call them. And it is, I do feel that energy. Hospitals have quite a heavy energy anyway. It's almost as though we do our energetic work, we ground before we go in, and it's almost as though we're in our own little bubble and atmosphere when we go into the hospital and into the chemo ward. And you know, in that bubble there's a safety, a security, a protection, a lovingness. There's an energetic field that we've created, and we're able to observe what's happening around without being part of it. We're able to even project loving energy to others who are going through this process. And it's such an amazing, it's like such a different dimensional trip to be on, in a way, because my beautiful soul sister is such a spiritual, beautiful being. And not that, to say people in hospitals or chemo wards aren't that, but it's just not normally the place where I would, it's just a different environment. And so feeling a lot of it's difficult. It was difficult the first time. We've become adjusted. We've developed a process and a program. Now when we go there, it was number 6 of 9 treatments yesterday. And we're just very conscious of energy and the movement of energy in places. And so it's a different kind of experience for us both. My friend is a beautiful artist who used to be the person who would bring art and bring art therapy into hospitals and mental health wards. And we're very conscious of the art in the hospital and the beauty it does bring when you're sitting in a chemo chair for 4 hours and you see these beautiful artworks on the walls, or the posts being painted with pretty pictures. And so we're able to see the beauty and to see the joy and the deeper spiritual messages and energetics that's moving and flowing in the experience, even though it would be an experience that normally would be probably quite traumatic, or and not saying that it hasn't been challenging and had its moments of traumas, especially more the aftercare. 3 days or more after the infusions basically kick in. But it's just learning. I'm learning a lot from the experience. And also, I had to go through this understanding of merging Western medicine with traditional alternative medicine, or with energetic healing, with my son when he had his swollen tonsils, adenoids and turbinates, and he basically couldn't breathe. So yeah, there was a lot that went on there where I tried to avoid surgery at all costs, and ended up having to get the surgery and having to realize that, modern medicine has its place, and Western medicine rather has its place in creating the outcomes that we need. But it is a balance, and it is about understanding that things are energy as well, and not discounting one or the other, but being able to experience a holistic approach to our health and to healing and to repairing damage that we've created through things. Or even, understanding, yesterday was a bit of synchronicity at the hospital too, in kind of understanding that it's almost like from another amazing person I was talking to, who had got through radiation therapy last year. And there's kind of this understanding, that when we don't listen to our bodies, when we don't slow down, when we sacrifice too much for others, or when we we have toxic self-love, that sometimes it's like your body goes, whoa, I'm going to make you stop, I'm going to make you listen, I'm going to make you notice me and respect me and think about me. And that can be in dramatic ways sometimes. And it was just interesting that this other lady said this, and then my friend and I had only just been talking about something similar in her situation as well. So yeah, lots of food for thought there, and lots of learning, and lots of, for both of us, and lots of also understanding and feeling again. Like there's been a bit this week that's really come to me about feeling like I'm in a different dimension, but I'm like here, but I'm not here. I know this sounds weird. I'm in this reality, but I'm in my own space, kind of observing this reality whilst I'm experiencing what I'm experiencing. And it's more of that kind of saying, I guess it makes me think of that religious saying that Jesus said once about being in the world but not of the world, and really feeling that lately. And it's kind of this feeling of displacement. I think it's the dimensional shift that's happening, and it's that separating from one dimension and moving into another, and it's that consciousness of it, I guess. So I mean, it's all good, and it's also rising other things. I've had a lot of things rise in the last week. Some last kind of periphery things, and then also some really kind of deep core things relative to childhood abuse and to domestic violence that's really come up with me. And there's been a same thing. It's been quite a dualistic realization, because I'm seeing a lot of synchronicities all around me. It's more than dualistic. It's like lots of aspects of it, of people of women especially, who have gone through similar things, and it's sort of rising it for clearing as well. And we're all being kind of catalysting this change, this rising of this stuff, but also helping support each other and nurture each other and counsel each other through it and help each other through it with all the different skills that we have. So it's been really great. It's also been very revealing to me how far I've come from the life I used to live in, that trapped place in domestic violence where you feel stuck, where your fear means that you don't know where to go, you don't know what to do when you have children, and you've got to consider other little beings in this process, and that confusion between trying to protect them from what happens if you leave and trying to protect them from the horror that you're living in when you stay. Also the programming of wanting to stay, keep the family together, even though that's not really a family, it's a dangerous, abusive situation. And there's a fear in breaking up the family, even though what you're in is not really, is actually causing harm and long-term psychological damage. But because you're in such fight and flight yourself, you're in total survival mode. You can't think clearly. You're confused emotionally. It's all irrational. It's fear-based, heightened nervous system responses, and people around you judging you and saying, oh, well, you just should go, why do you put up with that, doesn't actually really help in a lot of ways. It's same thing, it's the duality, being told, look, this is the reality of the situation you're in, it's dangerous and blah blah blah, does help in a way, but it doesn't, because it adds to the fear. So there's so many things that I see and I realize that I have come so far from, because I was in those places. I did leave. I did make the choice to leave. Things that I noticed happened to me. I got quite passionate about this lately, and I've been quite, even yesterday I was over emotional with PMT as well, and I was feeling so like, that about having come so far, having taken the steps, having lived through the fear and coming through the other side into the freedom that's here, and realizing that this has been hard earned, but it was really only a decision that I needed to stick to. And once I made the decision, everything flowed and worked for me. And I understand, like, people came in my path, situations occurred, stuff happened that helped me and assisted me because I'd made the right decision. And I've since learned in my life, and this is one of my rules or mantras I live by now, is that when you make a soul-aligned decision, a gut decision that you know is right, when you make that decision, the universe supports you at every turn when you stick with that. When you fight that, when you try and keep up here or in here, all disconnected, this needs to be aligned. But when you make a core gut decision and you run with it, everything falls into place and works in your favor. The universe seems to divinely support you in that. When you fight that and you try to resist and stay along a path of your choosing up here, or out of fear, or out of programming, it's like you just keep hitting wall after wall of suffering and trauma and pain, and it just builds up and it builds up. And so nowadays, what I teach, what I've learnt, what I do is I'm able to observe. I'm able to step back a little. I've practiced at this now to observe what's happening in my body, what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking. I've learnt how to transmute the distorted messages in my nervous system, figure out what's programming and patterning, what's real, transmute the patterning and the programming and the trauma-based triggers, rise that energy up into the higher centers to align what I call the Holy Trinity, the gut, the soul, seat of the soul here, power in the gut, heart, and pineal or head. So when those are in alignment, things flow, life flows, we live in flow and synchronicity, miracles happen all around us, we become conscious creators. And I'm experiencing this more and more in my life, in my regular day. Of course, I'm human, things keep coming into my field, things keep becoming exposed to be transmuted, and I'm thankful for those things. They are difficult at points, and I will have to cry to release, or I'll have to express angst or frustration, but I'm consciously aware of what's going on and able to transmute, change, transform and grow from these things. So I'm also aware that it is on a bigger picture level, more stuff for me, more fuel for manifestation, more ability for me to rise higher. And I am very conscious of having come here for this heightened, elevated frequency mission and determined to make that happen, which of course happens through elevating my frequency, sharing that around me. So just through connection, just through existing, really, through being. So lots of stuff going on. Lots of things happening in my world relative to health, past stuff, trauma, DV stuff even, being called more and more, I feel, to assist, and there's a struggle there too, to assist amazing people, mostly women, because I have more of an affinity with women. I've been through it. I'm surrounded more by women who are experiencing this. I know men go through DV as well, and I'm sure it's similar feelings, although it's a different dynamic because of men and women's roles, responsibilities, expectations, the programmings that go through, but really being called more to kind of assist and help women who are in these situations, and being able to reprogram the nervous system to create that lasting freedom, to break free from those patterns, because it needs to kind of come from the inside, this strength, this alignment, or else we find ourselves coming back to the same patterns. So working on helping, creating a program for that, which is what I originally wanted to do and was called to do. But I didn't think I was quite there yet. So now this is where my path's taking me. So we'll see what comes out of that. I'm flowing with divine guidance on that one. What else is there I wanted to share? There was something else that came up. Oh, understanding this connection between, hey babe, real life. Yeah, or maybe I'll talk about that one another time. Yeah, so anyway, that's the latest and greatest, and that's fresh on my mind right now. Talk further another time. Hope you all have a great day. If you have been through or are going through domestic violence or healing from child abuse, trauma and all that stuff, just know that nothing's set in stone. Everything can be reprogrammed. Science today tells us about neuroplasticity, being able to rewire neurocircuitry so that we can change the programs up here and deep in here, in the core and the gut, in the nervous system, that can align these things so that we can clear out those programs and stop acting on them, and be able to really find that place of inner freedom and self-love where you don't need to keep playing out by bringing into your world repeats or mirrors of who abused you as kids, by bringing them in as partners or friends or work colleagues, etc. Because you can clear that shit out of you, so you don't attract that to you, so you're not projecting that out either. So we're not all engaging in these subconscious like contracts or games or karmic things that we can really heal. We can really clear this shit from our bodies. We can clear this shit from our systems. We can make a difference. Get help, be supported, find a cool network of friends. Know that things can change. You can change you. You can change the world around you. You don't have to do it alone. It's okay. There's people that will support you, and you're not burdening people by asking for their help. Allow people the opportunity to help. It allows them to be able to give, and to give something back to others as well, and to make them feel everybody likes to give and to feel like they can support and love. And I'm sure you probably like that, so allow others to give that to you and have that beautiful feelings themselves for being able to help you. It's not a burden. Let people help you. It's too much on your own. Let people help you and love you and give you support where you need it. Know that you're not alone. Reach out and get a good tribe and a support network. And much love to you all. You can get through this. You can get to the other side. You can live a life that's happy. You deserve it. In fact, that's your true state of being, is one happiness. And I've got to say, from my experience, yeah, it was hard. Yeah, it was challenging. Any transition is challenging. Yeah, I freaked the fuck out. Yeah, I thought I was in hiding. I lived in fear for so long. And I refuse to live in fear now. My biggest regret is that I didn't leave earlier. I didn't get the support I needed earlier. That I tried to do so much alone. And that I lived so long in fear while I was in it, and so long in fear even after I left. Life's too short, man. Fuck that. You deserve happiness, deserve love, deserve to live a life of joy, and so do your kids. Doesn't matter if they got mum or dad. It matters that they've got one parent or one person that's a role model to them of how to love their self, how to self-love, and how to find love and joy in the world around them. That's what matters. Love yourself, be believed in, be loved. It only takes one to do that. It doesn't even have to be a mum or dad. It's one person to show a kid. And mum or dad's the most important, because that's who they copy and role model the most. But you've got this, guys, okay? Much love to you all.